Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Derail Valley. I'm here in the roundhouse at Machine Factory. I was just servicing my locomotives, and when I was pulling in here, I noticed something out of the corner of my eye in that bush over there. You seeing what I'm seeing over there? Because I think that is a DE-6 demonstrator locomotive similar to the DE-2, which was hiding from us in the very place we started the playthrough at the steel mill. This one was hiding from us at the machine factory, and the amount of times that I have gone into this maintenance bay and not noticed the, granted, slightly rusted yellow paint hiding from me here in this bush is amusing and slightly frustrating that I couldn't find this earlier, but here we are. We have the demonstrator DE-6. So this is going to change plans a little bit. The plan was originally to do another long haul, maybe down to the harbor, build up some more cash. Obviously, we're going to customize the DE-2. We're going to head back down to the harbor to install all this stuff we bought at the end of the previous episode. But now we got a new plan. And that new plan is going to be to probably install most of that stuff into this guy. Although maybe we'll get it restored first. I should go in chronological order here. We're going to tow this guy back to City South, I think, right away. I can't think of a reason I don't want to restore this thing right away, so I'm going to go ahead and re-rail it. Now, there's going to be some decisions to make regarding the paint for this thing. I've gotten a comment or two. Whoops, I do not want to place quite yet. I would like to rotate. Oh, I need to go back over there, huh? Good thing we got long reach. There she is. Tow home. Yes, we will tow you to City South. And we'll get that done today. Let me see if I could actually pull up my YouTube comments properly this time again, because I want to give proper attribution where proper attribution is due. And in my previous episode, sorry, 2 episodes ago, on episode 14, I had received a comment, I believe it was 14, from the only person, I joked about this, it was the only person in the entire world, I think, that watches both my Derail Valley episodes and my Schedule 1 videos, which I'm sure a lot of you don't even know exist, but that's a completely different game. I don't blame you if you are unfamiliar with that game. All right, that took a lot longer than expected. It was Sir Darth Buckethead, 2471. He actually commented that way back on episode 9, so that was the reason it took me a little while to find that. But we got it. So he had recommended leaving this interior unpainted, unsandblasted even, keeping the rusty aesthetic. Now, I can get behind a rusty aesthetic. I don't know if I can get behind broken windows, especially with how loud this engine is. So we'll consider it. I'll take a look at how it looks. You know, you can always save and load, and we can install the light before we sandblast. But yeah, he was like, you should hide the red light, and then the rusty look with the hidden red light gives you a pretty comfy, cozy aesthetic. And you know I value comfy and cozy very highly here on this channel. So we'll consider it. We'll consider it. Now, the plan for getting over to City South. Let's hop on over to our station building and see if there's any jobs that take us there. There's a couple that take us to the harbor. I know that. And there's one shunting to the steel mill. Oh, and the sawmill. You don't say. Well, City South's already so far away that I think I would like to make some money on the way. So what we can do is maybe we go to... Does Oil Well Central produce gasoline? It wouldn't make sense. I think the oil refinery would produce gasoline. But if I look at this chart, what does this chart tell me? It tells me that Oil Well Central produces that, which goes to people. So that might be gasoline. That might be methane, actually. I think the top is crude oil. Is that correct? Where's Oil Refinery on here? Am I blind? Is there no oil refinery on here? I don't think there's an oil refinery on here. Well, the oil refinery is a fairly new addition to the game, so maybe that's... Well, I say fairly. This game... development of this game is very Very slow, but it's fine. We love the developers. They made a great product. Has me a little skeptical that this will work out, but I think we'll fly on over to Oil Well North. I'll cut out that journey because we're not going to have any cargo with us. We'll take our demonstrator DE-6 here. I think we'll probably be leaving behind the rental DE-6 just because I don't need to lug that thing around. We're not doing a very heavy haul here, unless of course Oil Well North. Maybe I'll take it just in case Oil Well North has lots of goodies for me, though I won't leave it running. I think that much I know for sure. So we'll start booting things up in here. Actually, like I said, we won't be running the DE-6, so we'll run the DH4. We'll make a DE-6 sandwich with the DH4 in the middle, and we'll go pick up that happy rusty fella over there. Yeah, I can't believe. Like, I usually do the maintenance off screen, to be fair, so I didn't really give my viewers much of a chance to call out that it was right there the whole time. But I was doing my usual process. I was coming in here after the video. It's actually the next day. It's the morning. And I was doing my maintenance, and I was like, that's peculiar. That's kind of frustrating that I never saw that earlier. By the way, thank you to Marty. Hear that ticking with the throttle? He notified me that's actually a power relay disconnect or something of the sort. Don't have the comment open right now, but it prevents frying the electricals of the throttle. I think the actual throttle handle maybe, or something in the control box clicks to avoid overloading that. I've always wondered what that sound is, so it's nice to hear running over there like I'll be able to turn that thing on. No, we got to actually go to it. Switch, please. Another big thank you, by the way, to the viewers. I've been experiencing quite a lot of growth in Derail Valley over the last few days. I honestly think ending the Tavern Keeper series may have been the best thing I've done on this channel. I think the YouTube algorithm was able to settle down on one target audience for me. That being said, I am still making Schedule 1 videos because I love that game, and I'll be damned if I let the algorithm tell me what I can and can't play. And like I said, I got one person, Mr. Darth, who I know watches both, and that's, you are a unicorn, my friend. You are, I guess, a lot like me. You just like making money. That's why we play these games, is to see number go up. 412,000 right now. That's not true, actually. I don't play Derail Valley just to see number go up. And I don't play Schedule 1 just to see number go up either. Both these games are played for the gameplay loops, you know? The vibes, definitely. I mean, good to be honest, Derail Valley has Schedule 1 beat on the cozy vibes. Not even close there. But Schedule 1 has Derail Valley beat on some other aspects, like you can't do much drug dealing in Derail Valley. So definitely Schedule 1's the better game if you're looking to do that. Oh, I wish I should have turned this one around so we could have been like a double-headed snake. A dual bi-directional, you know what I mean? Like have the cabin in the back here. That would have looked neat. Would have looked like the alligator. Ooh. Speaking of alligator, that train, that locomotive always reminds me of Transport Fever. I was thinking about playing some Transport Fever 2 on channel. I'm going to take a sip of coffee here. I decided against playing Transport Fever 2 because Transport Fever 3 comes out any day now. Maybe I could find that out, actually. Transport Fever 3. Scheduled for release in 2026. That's the release date, the whole year. All right, well, what I could do is prime the algorithm, as they say, with some Transport Fever 2 content. I think it's pretty similar to Derail Valley. Obviously, you're dealing with trains, which is the main draw. Doing more logistics and network management, obviously, since you can't drive trains directly in that game. Where are we going, by the way? We're going to the oil well north. Let's make sure we have that set up. And we will be coming in there kind of facing the wrong way, I think, if we wanted to get to city south afterwards. We're going to oil well central, actually, not oil well north. But maybe we don't mind that anymore. Maybe we're cool with just driving backwards. And being in city south facing backwards might... No, that wouldn't be a good thing because we'd want to go to harbor afterwards. And we'd want to back in. Well, we could turn everything around anyway. Yeah, I mean, we'll figure it out. I'm just gonna... I'm gonna do the backwards thing. I'm getting a little bit of lag again here. I think maybe... It's a combination of the DE-6 and this specific part of the map. Seems like it might just be a little bit laggy. Maybe because there's two stations rendering at the same time. Because we're so close to coal power plant and machine factory that both are visible. You know what I mean? And maybe that's just a lot of polygons for ye old game engine. Regardless, let's keep an eye on our speed here. We are going 50. It's downhill, I think. We need to set up some switches. I know coming out of coal power plant we should be okay. So I don't think you can actually get into coal power plant from this side. Oh, you can, and it was set up to do that. All right, so we fixed that. Then we're gonna go through City West, coming in from the top, and we got to fix that also. All right, well, City West, coal power plant are all set up. So now it's just the route. We're gonna keep right there, and then we're gonna keep left here. And the change will be keeping left here. And then right there. And are we about to derail? No, we're fine. I heard some screeching wheels and it got me a little worried. I think we're all set for a straight shot into Oil Well Central now. I don't know where I'll be going when I'm going to Oil Well Central. I'm kind of just praying there'll be a job there that will take me to City South. Worst case scenario, I'm thinking, there will be a job there that goes to harbor. So, well, we're going really fast right now. Let's maybe slow down a little bit. As we wrestle with the low frames. Maybe if I pop back in here. Yeah, it's a little bit better, actually. Maybe it is something in the cabin of the DE-6. I got a comment from Marty on the last video who mentioned that even when he uses the DE-6 engine for some extra pulling power, or pushing as we're about to do, he does still primarily cabin the DH4. And I know that's pretty common actually in Tavern Keeper. Pretty common actually in Derail Valley, where people will always just pilot the DH4 because it has the best cabin. It has the second best visibility behind the DE2 probably. To be honest, I've never even been in the cab of the DM3, so I don't know how visibility compares there. It's probably a little bit better to offset the pain of driving that thing. And I don't know anything about the steam engines, but I do know that the DH4 has better visibility than the DE6, and more mounting points for gadgets, within view at least. Very small windows. There's the whole other side of the DE6 cabin, but that's you can't see that stuff when you're driving. So what I'm thinking is I'm gonna cut out the rest of this trip over to the oil well because it's a little bit of a lengthy one, and then I'll see you again when I have some decisions made with what we'll be pulling out of Oil Well Central. So until that time comes, I'll see you guys in just a little bit. Welcome back. It's foggy. And also, oh, that was maybe a little bit faster than I intended to hit there. Also, our little quick hop to City South has turned into a little bit more than a quick hop. We have a quite long vehicle here, which I'll demonstrate in a second. Just got to get the last part hooked up, and we'll get us pulling forward as well. Oh boy, it's all the way at the back. I don't even know how long this one is yet. I haven't done the math yet. We're going to do that live. F it, we'll do it live. All right, well, it's far enough that my signal is not sufficient. Although I did just buy a signal booster, so maybe I should plug that in. Yeah, somewhere all the way up there is the locomotive. We're actually facing backwards, so we're going to run this one in reverse. Just give it a little bit of throttle. In fact, I'm going to go run up here and turn on the DE-6. A little bit of rain coming down now. That will make this even spicier. Looks like we still have some brakes pressurized. There we go. Let's get you running. That will be out here. All right, she's running. We'll leave this one to it. I do want to run. I got to actually run back to the station building, activate these contracts still. We have 3 here, 3 really huge ones. So at the front there is some methane going to the harbor. Behind that here on the striped tanks, we have, I think, crude oil going to the harbor. And then on the back there, we have some more methane also going to the harbor, if I remember correctly. So all this stuff's going to the harbor. I couldn't find anything here going to City South. I do believe the production tree in the station building is actually out of date since it does not contain the oil refinery. I believe it's out of date. And the crude oil is probably not represented here. You have crude oil goes to oil refinery or harbor. Byproduct is methane that goes to harbor. And then the oil refinery brings things to the cities. Anyway, here is the plan. The pen is our locomotives there. We have the things I just mentioned. Pretty good payout for all these. They're all very heavy and very long. So that was the only downside, is this is going to be a spicier trip than I had intended. And I'll go through the details once we're properly, properly on the move there. I did check the forecast. There is no rain, no heavy rain until later in the day. It's about 4 p.m. right now, and it is raining. So we have to contend with that, but we should be okay, I think. As we run our way back up here, this thing is very long. All right, we'll get into the DH4. We are running backwards, so I have to keep an eye through the DE-6. Even this DE-6 is backwards, so I can't really see. I guess I could sit in here and watch for speed signs. They'll always be on the right. As I take out my pen, click my pen in my notepad, lick my fingers so I can turn the page. Sorry, you probably didn't need to know that part. What are we working with here? So I want to do these in order. We have, this is methane. I think that's the one on the back. This is definitely the one in the middle. This is the oil. And then this is hopefully the one attached to the locomotive. So 2 of these are going to the same drop-off E8. That's right. And those are the 2 I have closest to the locomotives, which was as intended. Okay, let's write these down. So we have, this is what I usually do in between cuts. We have FH 53, not 35. This one is 714 tons, and that will be 247 meters. Then we have 2 more FHs. I'll write that down. What do we have? FH 68 is in the middle, also going to harbor. That is 540 tons, 175 meters. Pretty short one there. Then another pretty short one here is FH 51. I can't see my speed signs, kind of tweaking me out. This one is 546 tons, just like the last one, and 189, we'll call it, meters. So taking out my phone, also known as my calculator, and doing cargo only. Oh, actually, before I do all these, let's just make sure we're going to go the right way here. I don't want to screw that up. We're coming out of Oil Well Central, where we're going to make a left. And then, oh, this is a tough one. Here we're going to want to stay right. And then here we're going to want to go left, which is what it was set up with. Yes, okay, so left, right, left. That brings us here where we stay right, and we stay right. That'll take us into City South. And we're not going through any other stations, so we should be chill. Only going 19. We have a 40 coming up, so I'll give it another tick of throttle as I do my math. So we have 714 plus 540 plus 546. So get this, tonnage in raw cargo is 1,800 tons. So we're really, what do you call it? We're leveling up here. We're doing a lot of very heavy hauls back to back. Then we have the length, which is 247 plus 175 plus 189. Raw cargo length is 611 meters. Quite long, far from our longest though. And then if I look at my previous notes, I should have the weights of these locomotives written down already. DE-6 is 125 tons fully loaded, and we have another one on us, so we'll call that 115 tons since it's empty and broken. And then we have a DE-6. No, sorry, we have a DH-4, which is 78 tons, and it is fully loaded. And then lengthwise, I know the DH-4 is 13 and 20 for the other one, so that'd be 40 meters in DE-6 and 20 meters, or like 19 or something, right? What is it? Oh, only 13. Okay, only 13. So 53 meters of locomotive and 125 plus 115 plus 78 and 318 tons of locomotive, which means our gross vehicle weight is 2,118 tons, which is our heaviest haul yet. And our gross vehicle length is 611 plus 53, 664 meters. So our heaviest haul yet, and definitely our densest haul, since it's not really very long. It's just thick. It's just carrying a lot of stuff. Let's make sure our lights are on in the correct orientation. Let's make sure our warning beacons are off, since we don't need those no more. Pop back into here. It's a little bit louder in here, but you know, it's okay. We'll survive. And I guess we'll just kind of chill out at the front here. I'm not sure how realistic it is to be riding outside of your locomotive like this. I did mean to grab the signal booster before we head off properly there so that I could use it, but live and learn. We'll be okay. Still getting a little bit of some frame rate issues, which is pretty disappointing. At least when you're up here, you get some nice views. And I feel like I've seen videos of people hanging out outside the locomotive like this. Give it a bit more speed. We are going uphill here. Nice visibility of the speed signs from this vantage point. Give it a lot more power, actually. I'm gonna sip some coffee here. All right, so I remembered when I was setting up this consist that we can't actually repair this boy, this DE-6, until we get the machine part, or the train parts, which are at the machine factory. So gonna be a little bit, well, it'll probably be next episode when we get this thing properly up and running, which is fine. I think that gives me a chance to ask you guys what we should paint it. Now, I love the demonstrator paint on this thing. You can see it's yellow with the white stripe. There's a caveat to that though, which is a couple caveats, I guess. The first one is, as Darth commented, there's some interest in leaving the interior unsandblasted and unrestored. And in that case, it might be weird if the exterior is in mint condition, but the interior is all rusty. Then again, maybe we don't really mind that. So that's a minor caveat. The more important consideration, in my opinion, my humble opinion, that's very loud, is, oh, and wheel slip, yeesh. Oh no, that's just heat, not wheel slip. The other consideration is the slug. So we're going to be getting the slug pretty soon, and you can't repaint the slug, I don't think. At the very least, you can't give it the white stripe with the yellow demonstrator paint. So it's going to be orange. And if we want our demonstrator DE-6 to match the slug, since they're, you know, obviously very similar machines and they'll be working in tandem most of the time, then maybe we want to go orange for both of them. I'm really on the fence. I think I'm leaning slightly towards using the demonstrator paint on here, just so that it's another color. I like all the different colors this game has. I like colors. So that's how I feel. That's my opinion. Let me know what the masses think though, and I'll leave a little pinned comment maybe so that I can collect all the responses in one spot. Ooh, we're struggling here. 17 kilometers is pretty slow. Let me take a look at the temps in the DH4 here. We're fine on temp here. So I guess it's the DE-6 that's overheating. Yeah, a little bit hotter in here. Oh, it's the traction motors that are over amp. Well, that's why I should have stopped at our station building and the garage and picked up the widgets. I could have popped them in here temporarily. I could have at least grabbed that signal booster. It's so loud. It's so loud out there. The DE-6 is such a loud machine. That was one concern I had in the last episode, was that it was very loud. My voice was very quiet, and I mixed everything the same as I usually do. I think these machines are just way louder than the DH4 is. So let me know if that becomes annoying, if it's too loud or if it's draining out my voice too much. It's hard for me to tell because I don't like watch it on my TV. I really only watch it in the editing software. I don't watch it on my phone also, or with like earbuds or anything like that. So I don't have like the full perspective. Although nothing's stopping me from doing that, I guess. Well, I guess what would be stopping me is that I'd already uploaded the video by that point, so it'd be too late to make any changes. But I could take a look at the last one and see how it sounds. Well, since we're going so slow here, it is a nice view. I'll probably put a little clippy cut in here, do some cinematic shots as we go around this corner with the pretty light, and check in with you folks. I guess closer to City South. Does this part of the map remind anybody else of Red Dead Redemption 2? I don't know, maybe it's the sounds of the wildlife and the lighting at this particular moment, but it just reminds me of Red Dead Redemption 2. Can't explain it. Look how long this train is, though. Also, I think this locomotive might have flat wheels. You hear that? That crunching sound, that ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. I think that might be flat wheels. One of the new passenger cars, they added it into the subways here in New York about a year ago, had a flat wheel issue. And boy, was that. I mean, look, even if you don't live in New York City, you're probably familiar with the New York City subway system. It's all underground. And the stations are kind of a little bit like dungeons. And when a very heavy train with a bunch of flat wheels goes through those very enclosed underground spaces, it's just boom, 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 and it's like deafening down there. And so they had to fix that. We're going pretty slow here and wheel slipping. Thankfully, we were going to slow down anyway for that 30 up ahead. Where are we? Where we're making a right. I think we're over here, yeah. Well, I could confirm that. Okay. Maybe we're not. Weird. Which switch is this? I hate when this happens. When I can't find a switch. It makes me think we might be lost. Oh boy. Well, we're probably not lost. We'll stay on the line and we'll see what happens. Ah, okay. That's Reginald's garage. That's all it was. It was an unmarked offshoot. I guess we're over here. Yeah, because I think we just went over a bridge. So we should have a right turn coming up anyway, before the forest south. Well, see you guys when we're a wee bit closer, lad. Well, we are really right at the limits of what we can handle here. Don't pay no mind to the beeping. We are riding right on the overheat limit of the DE-6. The DH-4 is surprisingly doing just a-okay. I guess I could pop in here, show you what I mean. So DH-4 here is fine, no heat concerns there. This guy, on the other hand, oh god, okay, this guy's about to explode. I didn't realize. So we're gonna kill the speed here. Kill the engine power, that is. We might get stuck here. This might be our first oopsie. As long as we can get out of here. Yep, a little bit of wheel slip. Let's get the sand on. Where is sand? There's sand. Yeah, there goes that temp. All right, here's the plan. This is an issue that we can resolve with a DE2, potentially. Oh, and we're rolling backwards. Okay, that's not great. That's not great. That's not great. We gotta turn this guy on fast. Fast, fast, fast. Get you going backwards. Wow, this guy is really rolling backwards fast. All right, let's see if we can get this under control. Yeah, we're getting a huge amount of wheel slip. We're gonna turn off this guy. That tripped, actually. This one's fine. This one's also being controlled by the computers, so we'll let it ride. Oh, and you're being pushed by the DE2 also. Well, this is messy. This is messy, messy. What I gotta do is try to connect this on the move, which I've succeeded in doing at least. And then let's see if we could get those connected and get our multiple unit connected. That's gonna put everything into neutral. Give it full power now. Oh, and we're about to blow up this engine, so let's maybe not give it full power. Well, we're gonna roll backwards for a little bit here. We failed, folks. We failed to make it up the hill. I could throw on some handbrakes, but I worry that might be a worse situation. Why are you complaining? You're offline. You shouldn't be. You know what? I'm just gonna. I'm just gonna do that. This thing's still so hot. I don't know why. I gotta turn this thing off too, because the computer's taking control and messing things up. And I don't even know. We might have blown up the DE2 by now. You're off as well. Wow, this is pretty bad. Well, let's get the brakes on. Surely that will help. Let's also do the cutoff valve. And get into here and make sure your cutoff valve is off. And let's get into here. Probably should have hopped on the brakes sooner there. Your cutoff valve is on. So I don't know why my brakes were flashing there. Are they still? Yeah, the brake light's still flashing. Oh, probably because I forgot to turn a valve on. Well, this just got spicy, hasn't it? I don't know why I didn't turn the brakes on earlier. Probably would have been smarter than trying to fight with the throttle. All right, so the way we're going to do this, we're going to let everything cool down a little bit. Amazing that nothing has exploded. I think the computer's control probably saved us there. We're going to get some things powered on one at a time here. Here we go. Let's get this one on. Lovely that it's starting to get dark out as I need to fix my failed haul. First one of the series. And I knew it. I knew as soon as we left the oil well that we were going to be in for a treat. All right, so let's just go back into reverse, because I think we're technically controlling from this train. Everybody's running now, so it probably is still not enough power. But we're going to see if we can make it work. We're going to get sand on all of the locomotives. And we're going to come on throttle as we come off brakes. The amp limiter is tripping. But we're moving forward. Something is overheating somewhere, but it's not dangerously hot. Maybe another tick of throttle. Let's see the situation in the DH4. We are great on temp there, and the DE-6 is also good on temp. I mean, the traction motors are hot, or the Emperors are high. But I think we're fine if we give it a bit more power. Should have called in that DE2 earlier, I guess. Should have gone on the brakes earlier, at least. And we're back at Reginald's garage. We're also having a little bit of frame rate issues, which is always fun. I thought I just saw smoke coming out of the control panel. I was like, never seen that before. Let's pop into here, turn off this red light, because I think it's lagging my game. But we're moving. I think we're under control. I think we gracefully... Well, I wouldn't go as far as to say gracefully. I think we handled, emphasis on the not gracefully, the issue. I think we're under good control now. So we stalled last time right at the junction where we were going to turn right. And that's the junction for Forest South, I believe. This one right here. So as long as we can make it through there, I think we'll be good. Let me actually go back into my DH4 here, take a look at the clinometer. Yeah, I mean, we're going uphill. I guess we are going pretty steep uphill, almost 2%. Yeah, that makes sense, I suppose. Let's see, something's overheating. I think it's the DE-6. It just hit the first tick of overheat. Yeah, I guess I don't really fully understand the DE-6 yet. Oh. How did you get there? Did I do that? You're supposed to be there. Here's the junction. We're already going much faster than we were going last time we were here. Another tick of power, perhaps. I think we can kiss our time bonus goodbye, especially considering we need to stop at City South and drop off the thing. Well, this thing. You know, this actually isn't that bad, since we've attached the DE2 to the reverse of the DE6. This will make dropping off the DE6 easier. Wait a minute. No, it won't. It will make it harder. Well, I could clear the work train or something. That is 100 tons of DE6 that will be dropping off. I gotta think for a moment how I want to drop this thing off, because that's the nose of it, where the cabin is. So I gotta turn it around and back it in, which means this DE2's gotta go when we get to the City South part. But well, I'll figure that out when we get to City South. Right now, let's make sure my headlights are on, so we can see where we're going at the very least. I think we could probably turn the sand off. Yeah, we're going fast enough. How's our sand looking? Good on the DE2, so I imagine it's good on the other locos. This is right where we stalled last time. And you know what's funny? I actually resumed the recording then to talk about something, and I completely forgot what it was because we stalled and rolled backwards and that whole incident happened. But I was definitely going to say something. Oh my god. Does that say 2.4? 2.2? It's even more uphill after this part? Well, let's try to gain speed, I guess. This is spooky. I didn't realize that this part was so scary. And we are overheating everything again. This is exactly how we exploded last time, so I want to stay very well in control of this time around. Well, we didn't explode last time, but we got close to exploding last time. I see that black smoke in here. Okay, we're doing fine though. Speed is low, but manageable. Okay, we're doing fine, I think. I just gotta keep it at this current throttle setting. Gosh, it's so loud. It's so loud out there. Maybe just stay in here for the time being. Nope, and there's the overheat. Coming off a notch of throttle again. As long as I can ride that limit, I'll be comfortable. You know, if we lose 1 kilometer of speed per, you know, like every minute, I can manage that, I think, just by like ticking up and down the throttle. It's if we start rapidly losing speed that we're going to be in a bad place. And here I thought this would be a short episode, but no, this is turning into the most stressful episode to date. What's crazy is I do not remember this uphill bit being here at all after Forest South. I've done this run many times already in this playthrough, and I do not remember that uphill being there. 70, it's like the speed limit sign is taunting me. Like, hey, you can go faster, buddy. Thanks. You don't have, what are we, 2,100 tons behind us? Alright, well, when I say it out loud, it does seem a little bit excessive. We did just gain a kilometer of speed, though. So we had a DE-6, which is rated for 1,000 tons uphill in the rain, granted. And we had a DH-4, which is rated for 500. So we had 1,500 tons of rated haulage, and we have 2,100 tons behind us on tow. So yeah, that's a lot. We're also going in reverse. Maybe that's why the DE-6 is getting so hot. Maybe it does like to be moving forward, although clearly the DH-4 doesn't mind that. I'd be surprised if the DE-6 didn't have active cooling. Let me do a little sound check here. There we go. Just make sure we didn't desync. Haven't had that issue since, thankfully. Since that one episode where we desynced. Yeah, a bit of a stressful time. I think we're under control. And so I think I'll cut out this part since we're just sort of dragging our feet here. But if I run into any more issues, I'll keep the recording on and I'll come back. Que la chito ovest. And la luna, maybe? Come se dice the moon? Italian language channel. Now, a little bit of frame rate issues. Anyway, we're here. It's actually been pretty smooth sailing after the initial hump by the Forest South. We did pretty good. We've been coasting for the most part now as we coast into the city. We will have to come to a full stop at the city, and let's just make sure we don't slam into anything in the process. I guess we'll turn right here and here. We'll pass on through. Come off the brakes, please. And then we'll stop like over here, detach, back up, figure our stuff out. And I think we'll be good. Yeah, I'll end the episode once we get to the harbor. Getting to the harbor will actually be the easy part, because that's mostly downhill, and it's so close, and you see we're actually still accelerating without any throttle. This train's so long, the back of it is still going downhill. I do wonder what our time bonus was. 54 minutes? Yeah, that ship has sailed, I think. Otherwise, well, so what I'm considering is going to sleep so that we have some daylight to work with tomorrow. But if we didn't miss the time bonus already, going to sleep will definitely miss the time bonus. So it's sort of like a gamble. A Campbell gamble. Ooh, I could actually just stop right here if the train will stop. I don't think the train's gonna stop in time for that switch. For future reference, I could stop right here. Oh, is he gonna do it? I think we will stop. All right, lovely. So what I'll do is I'll detach our big boy from back here. I can barely see what I'm doing, mind you. Okay, and then we'll get the DE-2 going. No, do not request work train. Do a switch, please. We'll get this DE-2 moving forward. Are we in forward gear? Yeah, okay, I guess we were in forward gear. Nice little weight off our shoulders with this thing, although it is hauling 100 tons of DE-6 at least. That's a lot of weight. Locomotives are heavy, man. Locomotives are heavy. We will keep left over there so we pass through. And then as soon as the DE-6, the demonstrator, clears the switch right here, we can get the main train pulling forward. And this should be a pretty optimal way of doing it. And that has cleared the switch now, so we'll switch you, and we'll get you pulling forward. And you're going to be going very slow, and that's okay. We want you to go slow because we need time to store this guy. I hope you can see what's going on here. We have the main train pulling forward on a clear track. We have the DE-2 pulling this DE-6 over to the museum. So we're multitasking a little bit here. What could possibly go wrong with that? As long as we keep an eye on the main train, we just want to make sure it doesn't get too much speed and get too far away from us. We will almost certainly need to stop it at some point, since it's going to take a little bit of time to store this guy. And given that we had to go backwards and everything already, I think I'm probably gonna go to sleep. No, I won't go to sleep. No, I will. We'll see. If the main train has to come to a full stop at any point in this process, then I'll go to sleep. If it doesn't, then we'll just keep going, because going to sleep is gonna stop the train anyway. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean. Ooh, big jump. All right, we're gonna go into one of those bays. And the plan is going to be so that I don't have to back this thing in back. Although I guess it doesn't matter which direction it faces. Yeah, I guess we'll just back it in fast and backwards for the sake of time. You're going 12. I'll take throttle off you. Yeah, so I was gonna say I could back this in backwards, but like as long as the wheels of the DE-6 are on the turntable and the wheels of the DE-2 are off the turntable, I could probably get away with spinning it around and then reconnecting. But now that I think about it, it doesn't matter which way we put it in, because we're going to take it right out as soon as it's restored anyway. And I think I did the whole DH4 restoration with the locomotive facing the wrong way. So, yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter at all. This is fun, though. I mean, obviously it wasn't so fun having the near catastrophe we just had. Probably did do some damage to the drivetrains of these locomotives. They were running in reverse gear, trying to drive forward for a good stretch there, and that was just causing wheel slip and hopefully not grinding our gears, but it may have been grinding our gears also. This is fun. We have a collision about to happen if I'm not careful here. Alright, let's get off the main line so that we don't get slammed into by our train, which is now going 10 kilometers per hour. 2,000 tons times 10 kilometers per hour would be a messy situation to find oneself in. And I think we're going to be able to do this no issues, because all I need to do is get this into the bay. I don't need to, like, store it permanently or anything. So I think we'll be able to keep that guy rolling. I love the look of the locomotive in the distance, though, with the lights on. Ooh, and the lighthouse over there that I've never noticed. Not a lot of lights here at City West. You'd think a city would be a little bit brighter. Alright, that thing has no throttle, so I think I'm just going to keep it going. It is slowly decelerating there, as you can see. I'm not too worried about getting too far away. Wow, it is long. The whole train is taking up the entire length of City West here. Did it just stop? No, okay, it's still going. Let's make sure we're not going crazy here, because our turntable is aligned. Okay, that's good. That's step one, is make sure we weren't going to derail immediately. That guy is still going at a good speed. And which bay is this going to go into? That one right there. Okay, let's slow down, please. Should be big enough to fit both locomotives on. This is a very large turntable. All right. That's good enough. That's the wrong way. Got to line ourselves up with... I wish the bays were numbered. I would just call it the DE-6 bay, I guess. There we go, lined up. And we will just nudge it far enough to where it triggers the tooltip, and we'll get more throttle going on the main train now, so that it has a little bit of speed when we get back to it. A little bit more throttle there even. How we looking? How we looking? Give me the tooltip. There it is. Perfect. All right, we bring this guy to a stop now. We turn off the locomotive. Fuel cut off, turn off the electrics. We'll be back for you, my friend. I'm sure leaving the headlights on won't be a concern. And let's get all the way back up here, and we are on our way to the harbor, and it's dark. It's very dark. Get our light on. Get our cab light is on. Okay, cool. I think I'm good to head off. Let's just make sure our switches are set up. They are. We're going to be going into... Methane is on the back, and we have the oil in the middle. So the methane's going to E9, I think. Yep. If I was intelligent, I would have done the two orders on the same track first, because in the off chance that I do get my time bonus, I'd want it to be for these two orders, and since they're on the same track, I can submit the orders at the same time, or validate them at the same time. As is, though, if I do meet my time bonus by some miracle, I'm more likely to get it for the first delivery, which is on E9. Unless these are backwards. I should verify this, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run to the back of the train. Make sure no cars have despawned either, because that happens sometimes when you do the shenanigans I just pulled with, like, detaching stuff. Okay, this is 492. Oh, right? No other letters? Okay, this is difficult. I want to get on that ladder. Give me the ladder. All right, I almost had it. 492, I think. There we go. Could have just taken a step back. All right, let's hop up on top. We're going slow enough. I'm not really concerned. And let's see which one has 492 in it. Not that one. And it is this one, so I did do this the right way. I just got to switch the order in my hands. Yeah, so I have the two DE-8 orders on the back of the train so I could drop them off first, which is what I thought I had done. I just put the packets in my inventory in the wrong order. All right, back in here, going at 20 kilometers per hour. Very, very dark. I apologize for that. Since there's no use in recording any cinematics since it's so dark, I guess I'll stay in the cabin for the remainder of this video. I'll try to, at least. As I check my YouTube notifications as I'm recording. Something I'll mention right now. I'm going to be traveling for work next week, so there will be a slight reduction in upload frequency starting next week and ending at the end of next week. I don't know why I phrased it that way. I'm probably only going to get one. I'm only going to promise one episode. The one I'm recording right now is going to come out next week, either Tuesday or Wednesday, I think. And then if I have the chance to record another one before I leave for travel, then I'll have that one scheduled to go later next week. And then I'll be back at the end of that week and can resume my normal schedule. The thing is, these videos, they're about an hour to an hour and a half on YouTube, but they're like 3 hours to record because I cut out so much of the mundane bits. And so I really can't record like 2 of these back to back. That's 6 hours straight of Derail Valley, and I'm not that strong. So I can only really record this one today. We'll see if I'm able to get another one in before my flight. And if so, well, I just want to guarantee the one I'm recording right now, and then just prepare for the worst, which is this is the only one next week. So just giving a heads up regarding that. Schedule 1 will continue. That one's a lot easier to record. It's much easier to sit down for 2 hours, and that yields me like 2 or 3 Schedule 1 episodes compared to just one Derail Valley episode for the same time frame. But yeah, that's the plan for next week. And then after next week, I'll be back in New Jersey, and I'll be able to record at my regular frequency, which is like every 4 days I upload a Derail Valley episode about, which is a nice cadence, I think. I slot the Schedule 1 episodes in between there somewhere. But yeah, leave some feedback. Let me know if that's okay with y'all. And that was really the gist of next week. I meant to say that much earlier in the episode. In fact, I may have mentioned it. Again, I started this episode like 2 hours ago, so it's been a little while since the first takes, and I may have mentioned it. I know my plan for the intro to this video was show that we found the DE-6 for restoration and mention that I'm going to be traveling next week. And I don't know if I ever got to that second part, so I'm doing it now, like 50 minutes later, maybe even an hour later. And my ears are starting to take the toll of the headphones being on. Anyway, I feel like I'm complaining too much. I don't want to complain too much. No one answered me when I asked how their day's been, by the way. There's the harbor. I say no one's answered me. The video's been up for like an hour. By the way, that video's doing very well. Only being up for an hour. I want to extend the usual thank you to the core audience. You guys are driving the channel. Got 18 views in just a few hours there, which is ranked 1 of 10 on my channel so far. We've been growing quite rapidly these past few days, and I've been kind of getting giddy over it. I was like, ooh. I was commuting to work the other day, and I refreshed my phone, checked my analytics, and it said 30 subscribers, and I was like, whoa, that's cool. And then I was like, kind of a little addicted to my phone like most people are, so I refreshed again, and it said 31 subscribers. And I was like, whoa, that's kind of great. No, sorry, this was when I was at 25. So I finished the previous day with 24. It was the next morning. I went to work. I refreshed. It said 25. I was like, oh, sick. Quarter to 100. I refreshed again. It said 26. I was like, whoa. And then I refreshed again, and it said 27 within like 25 seconds. I got 3 subscribers, and I don't know, maybe it's YouTube analytics playing a trick on me and sort of like bunching the notifications together. But that was a cool feeling. I was like, ooh. And then I refreshed again, and it stayed at 27, and it stayed there for the rest of the day. But what can you say? I mean, that was a cool feeling. I was like, ooh, I could get used to this. I like when number go up. As you know, I like when wallet number go up. I like when Derail Valley wallet number go up. I like when Schedule 1 wallet number go up. I do not like when speedometer number go down, though. Especially if we're rolling backwards in the opposite direction. It's weird that speed is negative, right? You'd think you can't have negative speed. I guess this would be velocity relative to the forward vector. In which case, the magnitude would be negative. Or something, I don't know. Vectors actually, I don't think, have negative numbers either, because that's the point of the direction. Let's slow down, please. Going a little fast for the yard. Oh, and I did forget to set our switches. Let's get the lights on, though. We're going to be pulling into E8 right away. So we'll configure that now. Better late than never. Than nether? What is this, Minecraft? Then never. Harbor. E. So we keep left. And then we keep left. And then we keep left. And then we'll be in E. And then we got to go to E8. Here's our E's. And there is our 8. Cool. And it's an input track, so we know that it will be empty for us already. I'm going to pop into the DE-6. Hello, DE-6. We're going to turn on the bell, because we like the bell. And the bell with the warning beacons is a nice combination of authenticity or something. Feels good in the soul. Is it raining right now? Oh, there's a raindrop or 2. Oh, that's right. It was scheduled to rain this afternoon. I'm talking about the game, by the way, not real life. If any of you viewers, my dearest viewers, are based in the Northeast, you know that we are getting slammed with snow this weekend. Which, if you're a skier, is a great... That's why, like, the scheduling is kind of up in the air, because I'm traveling next week and I'm skiing this weekend, because we're getting 12 to 16 inches of snow, which in the New York City area is extremely unusual. That's probably... I've never heard... I haven't heard a meteorologist say this officially, but just anecdotally, that's like a once every 12 years storm. I think the last time we had 12 inches of snow on the ground was from one storm was probably when I was a freshman in college, which was 2016, which was 10 years ago now, or I guess like 9.5. So the once every 10 years number does line up. That's just my personal assessment of the storm, though. We've been having really chill winters here on the East Coast for a while now. I remember when I was in college, it was 2016 to 2020, we had COVID-19, but we also had a lot of like really freezing winters. So it would be like single digits during the day. I remember I had a house when I was in college. I was renting a whole house with some friends, and we had a driveway. I had to shovel my driveway and a little sidewalk also. And I remember I was just shoveling ice. I was just trying to break ice in the driveway because it snowed and then it just all froze solid, and it was like a skating rink. Speaking of skating rinks, I mentioned in the very early episodes how I'm a big fan of the New York Rangers. My Dutch friends watching probably aren't the biggest hockey fans. But if you're a New York Rangers fan, you might not be very happy this season. We had the GM sent a letter to the fans, which the Rangers kind of have a history of doing, that basically said, hey, we're giving up. Sorry, our season sucks. We're giving up. So that was fun. That was a nice experience. Anyway, this is a little bit of lag. This is why I wanted to do this mission in reverse, because once we finish dropping off our cargo here, we'll be able to pull right out of the harbor. We don't need to turn anything around. I really got to look into why the frame rate seems to be degrading the more I play this game. I wonder if it is associated with like save file size or something. Because I was buttery smooth even when recording when I started this playthrough on YouTube, and now it seems like every episode is just getting more and more laggy. All right, and we'll get you pulling up forward again. Also, you see that? You see the magnets when I pull out the remote control? This is a cry for desperation. If anybody in the comments knows why that is happening, I actually want to turn off the DE-6. Please let me know, because I have remote coupling disabled. And I double checked that today also. Remote coupling is 100% disabled in the settings. So it should not be, I guess maybe even with remote coupling disabled, it still does the magnet effect, but that really bothers me. It hasn't screwed me over yet, but I don't like the look of the vehicles wiggling back and forth. Yeah, we were 10 minutes out of our limit there, 39K and 30K. All right, quick 69,000, nice. We got one more to drop off too, which is another 30K, I think. But yeah, it's not gonna make or break the gameplay, I don't think. It's just bothering me that it's doing that. It just doesn't look nice. I value aesthetics very highly in my games, and I don't like when I lose those aesthetics. All right, we're pulling into E9 to finish the mission for the day. We're in neutral for some reason. There we go. All right, now we're going forward. In push mode. Actually facing the correct way with the locos now, which is funny. But yeah, you can see the plan now. It's sorry, a little bit of hiccuping there. The plan is to just drop these off, back the locomotives out, and then we pull out facing the correct way. As I test the lag. Maybe it is the lights and the rain all together. But let me know. I'll show you my graphics settings real quick. It's basically all maxed out. Just motion blurs off, and anti-aliasing is like one level lower than the max. Let me know if there's anything there that I can tweak in your folks' experience that might improve the performance without sacrificing too much graphical fidelity. I'd rather live with 30 frames per second like every so often than degrade the graphics quality. I just said it. I care about my aesthetics, and part of that is high resolution and anti-aliasing and ambient occlusion and high quality shadows. All my favorite things in a game. Look at those high quality shadows. Maybe that's what's causing the lag. E10 or E100. Probably E10. The rain's also making things shiny, so that's probably not helping. Okay, we're gonna wrap up pretty soon here. Let's see. How do we do? We dropped off the demonstrator at City South, so that's ready to go for next episode. I'll probably just teleport up to Machine Factory with the loco, do a fast travel there, probably the DE-2, and we will fly back down the City South with our machine parts, which we've been doing a couple times actually for the last few restorations. So that would allow us to do the restoration off rip for the DE-6. Please let me know what paint we should do. So I know I had that little intermission when we were traveling before where I asked if we want to do the Derail Valley paint or if we want to do... Please stop. Or if we want to do the demonstrator paint. I mentioned I'm leaning slightly towards demonstrator paint because it's fancy and unique, but if we want to match the slug, then obviously we want to do the Derail Valley paint. I'm not concerned with the money. I think we have lots of money now. So next episode will sandblast, maybe again. Darth, I remembered your feedback. We'll see how we feel about it. We'll install some gadgets in the DE-6 probably. We'll install some gadgets in the DE-2 probably. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be a customization heavy episode. So if you're into that, that'll be a good episode for you to watch. If you're not into that, maybe skip that one. But yeah, hopefully that comes out next week. We'll see if I have time to get this one or to get that one recorded after recording this one. Now that I think about it, that makes all the opinions I'm asking for kind of moot because I'll be traveling when this one comes out. So maybe I'll wait. Maybe I'll just do the one episode. I don't know. I guess you'll see. Let me know. What are our fees looking like? That's a big number. That's the fees for the DE-6. But hey, it's nighttime. It's raining. Good time to end an episode. Hey, if you're watching this during the day, oh, well, first of all, thank you for watching. And second of all, if you're watching this during the day, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. If you're watching this at work, I hope you have a nice chill day at work. If you're watching this at night, I hope you have I was going to say I hope you sleep well, but I don't know if that's appropriate. I hope you have a nice night if you're watching this at night. So long and be well.